Enter the MintGox Esports Arena and experience the thrill of playing Counter-Strike for real Bitcoin. With Zebedee and Fuse, you can jump into a server right now and start stacking sats. When you're done, withdraw Bitcoin instantly to the Zebedee wallet. All matches are free to join during the Bitcoin 2021 conference, courtesy of Bitstamp.
Bitstamp's fast, easy, and secure purchasing options mean you'll never miss your moment to strike.
And I believe we are live. Hello, everybody. Hey, okay, welcome to the MintGox Podcast. This is a podcast where we talk about Lightning gaming and even get our guests to do a lap around Satoshi's village, but more on that later. Today, I'm very excited to announce our special guest, Ken Kruger from Moon, not Pay with Moon, but we'll get into that. So yeah, thanks for coming on the show, Ken.
Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Just a quick question. Do you have anybody in your family called Freddie?
Oh my God, I get that all the time.
I knew you.
Yeah. It's either Freddy Krueger or I'm Kenny from South Park. You know,
Is his last name Kruger? I didn't realize that.
Yes, but the Kruger is Freddy Krueger and my name. There's a slight spelling difference, so it gets me off the hook a little bit.
I got you. So yeah, you're not the the demon of children's dreams.
I try not to be, only on the weekends.
Yeah, sorry, I just had to get out there. So probably... Anyway, yeah. So just for people who are new to this show, so MintGox is a monthly esports event where you can basically play games and stack sats. This is our podcast where we get exciting people from the Lightning and gaming space just to talk about what they're doing in Lightning. So stay tuned. We're going to do a few things today. We're going to do things a little bit different. We actually have some kind of quiz that we're going to do where you will be able to type your answer in a Twitch chat and we'll be able to pay you out stats. But I'll explain that in a bit. We're also going to jump into the Infuse CSGO server, which Ken's company Moon is kindly sponsoring. So that's another opportunity to stack sats. And then we're going to get Ken to do a lap around a track in Bitcoin Rally. So every guest we have on the show, we rank them on this kind of leaderboard. You also may notice in the bottom right corner, we have a Tip Ken QR code. So please do send Ken some love and send him a tip with your Lightning wallet. It'd be much appreciated. Anyway, let's kick off. So Ken, let's just kick off. So like, what is Moon? Like, for people who might not know, can you just give us, like, I suppose, the origin story and elevator pitch there?
Absolutely. So Moon is really the answer to the question, how do you live on Bitcoin? That's ultimately what we're trying to build. So the product that we have right now, we have a browser plugin. You add to your browser, Chrome, Brave, whatever you'd like, and we allow you to create these virtual Visa cards that you can load with Bitcoin. And then you can use those to shop anywhere Visa is accepted in the United States. So say you're playing CSGO with Infuse, you're going to earn some sats. You can load those onto a Visa card and go shopping on Amazon or Steam or anywhere else that you'd like. And there's a few key unique aspects. One, it's very private. There's no KYC process. There's no, these are virtual cards, so it's very secure. You don't necessarily trust the merchant that you're shopping with. So it's really one of the most private ways you can make a payment on the internet today. We're non-custodial. You don't have to deposit your Bitcoin with us. You'll scan a QR code Lightning invoice, and boom, now you have a card that you can start spending. And we don't charge any fees. So, if you got Bitcoin you want to get rid of, we're the cheapest way to make that happen.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. So at MintGox, we have, as you said, we have a lot of people who play our games and kind of earn sats. And a lot of the Bitcoiners, they like to hodl, but we have a lot of people from the gaming space who kind of, it's quite funny. They actually call it stash for some reason. Like, so I got some stash. So how do I spend my stash? And kind of in Lightning, that's been a little bit of a problem, right? Because like, sending it to on chain is a kind of expensive thing as well, especially if someone's just like made a few bucks, they don't want to pay those fees. But with your product, if I understand correctly, you can send directly from your Lightning wallet, and you purchase a prepaid card, and then you can use that card anywhere Visa's accepted, or?
Yep, exactly. So say, it's great, like you said, that normally on-chain transactions are pretty expensive. If you pay with Lightning to get one of our virtual cards, you can create a card for $5. Use that to make a small purchase. We're actually going to bring that down to $1. So even if you want to buy a skin or something like that and just have like a one-time use card, you could do that.
It's pretty cool.
Or you can put as much as $1,000 on a card and then spend that down over time.
Well, that's awesome. So, like, have you always been Lightning first, or like, did you add Lightning later? Because I think a lot of companies generally, like, these kind of cards have existed, but they didn't really use Lightning. Did you exist before that, or?
So we launched our product back in 2019, where you could shop on Amazon using Lightning, and that was kind of our claim to fame. We had the Lightning integration. We also are integrated with Coinbase. So if you have any of your funds on Coinbase, you can use that to fund the card. But we're going to probably add on-chain transactions. It's one of the next things we're going to add. But we were always Lightning first.
Oh, you don't have on-chain transactions, is what you're saying?
We don't have on-chain.
That's interesting.
We started with Lightning, and now we're going to do on-chain. So.
Got you. Okay. Wow. Go on.
Yeah, it's just when you think about, making consumer payments, and you have to pay a couple extra bucks or up to $20, $25 for an on-chain fee. It just doesn't make sense if you're buying something that's, the average e-commerce transaction is $42.
Yeah.
So it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But Lightning suddenly now Bitcoin for consumer payments makes a ton of sense.
Plus, I can imagine for you guys, having to wait for confirmations before you can give the user their card and etc. is probably a pain.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like you scan the QR code, 2 seconds later you can start shopping. So it's a really great experience.
So you guys, you started with a browser plugin, if that's correct, and now you do cards. Do you do both, or how did that?
So the browser plugin is where you create the card, and Moon shows up sidebar. So any e-commerce site you're on, you can just open up Moon, create a card, and your cards get stored in the sidebar. So this is our website here.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have an app. We're gonna have hopefully a physical card at some point. But right now, focusing on virtual and focusing on kind of living in your browser, helping you make your payments.
So do people get like a discount if they use, because I remember there were some companies before that you could purchase stuff on Amazon with Bitcoin, and they actually could offer a discount if you did it with Bitcoin. Is yours a similar system?
So we used to do that. We used to allow people to shop on Amazon. We gave them 4% back in Bitcoin, and then Amazon sent us a cease and desist. So we had to stop.
I see. It's a shame. Okay.
So, yeah. So that was a little rough.
Yeah.
But but now we're looking at starting to do some deals and discounts. We don't have that yet, but we're super excited to add that. And if anybody has any merchants specifically that they want us to get some discounts and deals with, feel free to reach out and let me know.
But you're much more than Amazon now, because the card now lets you basically do it anywhere that Visa's accepted, right?
Exactly. Yep, exactly. Well, the way I look at it is we've kind of connected the Lightning Network and the Visa network. So now, you can you take your Bitcoin, you load a card, now you're spending anywhere Visa's accepted.
So how long would it take, if somebody played CSGO with us in a bit and got 1,000 sats, how long would they be able to basically grab something off Amazon or eBay? What's the kind of...
You can do it right away. You could use the ZBD wallet to, go into our extension, scan the QR code, load the card, and you're off to the races.
Nice. Yeah. No. Obviously, I know that for a lot of Bitcoiners, it sounds crazy to kind of do this, but I remember one of the things that actually got my family interested in Bitcoin was that my dad could actually buy Starbucks with Bitcoin, and he just found that amazing. He didn't really necessarily care about the hodling and stuff, but since he's come to appreciate that, but I think actually this is kind of an interesting use case which gets people to understand the technology a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, really, there are a lot of different cases. A lot of people say, why would I want to spend my Bitcoin? I have dollars. And then my question to them is, why are you still holding any dollars for? Why aren't you all in on Bitcoin? You're telling me you're such a Bitcoin guy, where, put your money where your mouth is, and beyond that, there are specific use cases for spending Bitcoin, especially in the developing world. So we have a lot of folks overseas in Latin America and Africa, people who are unbanked, underbanked, people who have access or trouble accessing traditional payments mechanisms. So they like to use our product to make online payments. So, in that circumstance, it's a little more, it's less about fun with Bitcoin, a little more like people have a real problem they need a solution for.
But also, I think we're starting to see these economies emerge where people get paid in Bitcoin, whether it's through gaming. But it doesn't make sense to get paid in Bitcoin, then convert it into fiat, then buy something off Amazon. If you've got the Bitcoin, you can, so I think that's definitely an emerging use case. And of course, you don't have to spend all your Bitcoin.
Exactly. If you get paid in Bitcoin, what are you going to do? You got to spend Bitcoin.
We just got a question from the audience. Fiat Jeff asks, why does it need an extension? Can't it be a standalone website? If you're just purchasing a card. Okay.
Yeah, 100%. It does not have to be an extension. It was just kind of a cool idea. Hey, let's have an extension. Makes it easier when you're on the checkout page. So you don't have to switch tabs. You don't have to switch apps or anything. It's just right there as a sidebar.
So the flow, the flow isn't you'd go to the website, buy a card, and then use it some date late in the future. You go to buy something off Amazon, and then at that point you instantly make the card. Is that correct?
Yeah. Or if you have already created a card in the past, you open it up, and now your cards are right there, and you can just now use one of them to complete your purchase.
Got you. So you can also kind of make, I guess it depends on the tiers, but I suppose you can kind of make a one-time use card, or do you have to
Yeah, right. So initially when we launched the product, it was only one-time use cards. And now what we've done is we've made it unlimited use cards. So you can create, like I said, up to $1,000 on one card and spend that down if you'd like. Or if you want to really have that security, you can have one card per purchase.
Nice. Okay, awesome. No, I'm really excited about this. Like I said, like one of the things we get questions from like non-Bitcoiners gamers who come into our Discord is like, well, how can I spend my stash? You know, so this is something I think that everybody would understand. So, but let's just get into you a little bit. So like, what was the origin story of the company? Have you always been like into Bitcoin, or was it like, were you into payments, or like what decided you to make like a Bitcoin company? I suppose.
Yeah. So, you know, my background, I'm an engineer. I worked at Lockheed Martin on nuclear submarines. And
okay, well, that's pretty exciting. We could do a podcast on that, I feel.
It's some interesting stories, but
probably classified.
Really, yeah, there's a lot of stuff I can't say, but yeah, it's you know, it was 2010. I was browsing Reddit and I heard about Bitcoin, and that's when I first started getting into it. I'm like, oh, this is really interesting. It's decentralization, this idea of sound money, you know, limited supply. I didn't buy any in 2010, the worst decision of my life. But I got some not too long after that. I'm actually in the lawsuit against MintGox, so that's fun.
Oh, well, we're the MintGox podcast. I hope it's not causing any like PTSD or something.
No, well, if I get a letter in the mail, we'll find out. I get a lot of mail from Japan from that. But yeah, so I kind of followed it from the sidelines. I was just kind of like always lurking. I never went to like events in person. Never got involved in the industry. After I was working on the defense contracts, I made some apps. I did some game development for a little while. I made the #1 twerking app. So
what app? Sorry,
it's a twerking app.
Oh, twerking app. Okay.
Yeah, you put the phone in your back pocket. It uses the inertial sensors in the phone to detect. It gives you a twerk per minute.
I don't mean to sound rude, but you're working on like fighter jets and nuclear submarines, and then going on to a twerking. I guess follow the money, but you know.
Well, I definitely fell from some height there, I guess. So, but yeah, so I was working on a bunch of stuff. I did some gesture recognition technology. I ran a consulting company, and then it was the price run up in early 2018. You know, the price of Bitcoin shot up to $18,000. Everyone's grandma was mortgaging off their house to buy Bitcoin. And all I'm thinking is like, this is not going to end well. This is really bad. Everyone's going to lose a lot of money because they're trying to get rich quick. And that's not how this works. This is a long game. And while, hey, great, like we need people to trade. We need efficient markets. And if you make a lot of money off of Bitcoin, fantastic. But what's exciting to me is how Bitcoin's going to change the world. I think we're all going to be living on Bitcoin someday. And that's really what inspired me to build Moon. It was so much focus was going on the price and trading and getting rich quick. That was around the time of all the ICOs. And I was like, well, somebody needs to create like a legitimate business here, you know, that actually like helps add usability to Bitcoin. So that's why I got into this.
Okay, interesting. So were you always kind of like, what was it about Bitcoin that you found interesting specifically? Like, did you have like a libertarian background, or was it completely from a technological point of view you found interesting?
Yeah. So it was definitely from like the libertarian side of things. That's what got, like, I was on Reddit. I was in like the libertarian subreddits at the time. That's when I was like, you know, all about Ron Paul and everything, you know, and I started hearing about this Bitcoin thing. Like, this is a really interesting idea. I like this. And I was going to get some, but back then you had to like meet someone in a dark alley and exchange cash for Bitcoin. Sure. And I'm like, you know, I don't think that's a good idea, you know?
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it was probably one of the best ideas I could have ever done.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I just love the idea of decentralization and kind of, you know, taking power back to the people, being in control of money. I love the idea of the separation of money and state. So that's what really got me excited about Bitcoin.
Okay, cool. So someone just said there's a little bit of an echo. Let me just try and, if other users feel the echo, do let me know. But I think we're good, maybe. Yeah, well, we'll see how it goes. But if there is an echo, do let me know, and I'll try and figure that out.
I'll put some headphones in just in case.
No worries. So good. I think we're all right. Yeah. Yeah, someone said it's all good. Anyway, I'm just going to do a little question now, and actually, Ken has actually given away the answer, so this will be a bit more like a question to see if you were listening. So this is the first time I've actually done it on a podcast, so bear with me while I just set this up. Actually, Ken won't be able to see it because he's not watching the stream, but we want this, don't we? Okay, cool. So you should be able to see on the right of the stream a Q&A quiz section, and don't want that question. We want this question. Okay, yeah. So the question is, when did Ken first get into Bitcoin? And the way you answer it is in the Twitch chat. When I say don't do it yet, you have to write MTX, your gamer tag, and the answer A, B, or C. So for example, MTX Mandelduck B. If you don't know what a gamer tag is, you need to download our wallet, which will be here. Let me just share the screen there, folks. Yeah, so you go to zbd.gg and you can download our wallet. And when you set it up, it basically asks you for a username. So that is your gamer tag. It's very similar to Cash App. So you basically need to write that down. And we're going to do a few of these questions. So this is just the first one. So if you don't have time to answer this one, we'll do a few more throughout the stream. So the question is, when did Ken first get into Bitcoin? A, 2010, B, 2013, or C, 2015. And now, if you want to write your answers in the Twitch chat, it should.
This should be an easy one because I actually said it like within the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, I give people a little bit of time to do that. There's a little bit of a delay on the stream, so. I'll do an example. Okay. So no, Fiat Jeff, you have to write A, B, or C. Someone was writing the answer. So you have to write A, B, or C, folks. Something Ron Paul. It's a bit confused there. Okay, there we go. He's got it. Yeah, so I'll just give people a little bit of time to answer that, and we'll just go on to something else. So you said you guys started in 2019. So how have you found it so far? Because obviously Lightning is quite new, and if you know a Lightning service, you can't really expect to have too many users coming on board, I would say, right?
Yeah. So when we had the product in 2019, it was pretty popular. We got a lot of people to learn about Lightning just to use our product, which was really neat. But what was different back then versus today, 2019, most of our users were paying through Coinbase, through our Coinbase integration. But now the vast majority of our users, just about 75% of them, they're all paying through Lightning. So that's really good. And our volumes are way, way more than they were back in 2019. So we've seen a huge uptick in people being familiar with Lightning. They're locked, they're ready to go. We do still get questions. Hey, how do I get set up on a wallet? How does this work? How does that work? But a lot of people, they're coming to the table. They know the deal already. So, so definitely, because we had this gap, 2020, we had no product on the market. So with 1 year, everything kind of evolved without us, and now we're back on the market. And now it's like, okay, things have definitely evolved a lot more than where they were in 2019.
I think what wallets were available. I'm trying to remember the state of the Lightning Network in 2019.
All the same wallets were available, but they were just very early.
Okay.
We still had Blue Wallet and Moon and Moon with 2 U's.
Yeah.
And then you had Wallet of Satoshi. And then that was when Phoenix first came out. That was October 2019.
Oh yeah, because before they had a Claire wallet, which was
yep.
So, but
exactly.
I remember I can't remember what date it was, but the first wallet I downloaded I think was a Claire, and then I tried to buy stickers, and it wasn't a good experience. It was just wasn't routing. Then it routed eventually.
What is your wallet choice?
Zebedee wallet, I have to say that.
Of course.
Zebedee. Well, actually, I think like most people, you have a range of different wallets depending on what you're doing. So obviously, I have my Super Sovereign like Zeus wallet that connects to my Raspberry running over Tor kind of thing, right? But I also have the Zebedee wallet because we have the gamer tag, and I can like interact with games better, right? But yeah, it's probably much easier now than ever before. Like back in 2018, 19, you couldn't just get some sats from playing games, right?
Exactly. Couldn't do that back then, so it's very exciting. I love it.
Yeah. So like, did you only accept Lightning, or do you set to other currencies, or do you, like?
Yeah, so it's primarily all Bitcoin. We have Lightning, but through our Coinbase integration, we do let people pay with Litecoin, Ether, and things like that also.
What do you see as the most used currency?
Oh, by far Bitcoin. That's like just across the board, like across the crypto payments industry, Bitcoin is more than 85% of all transaction volume globally.
Wow.
So Bitcoin is by far the dominant player. I think there's an increase in stable coins becoming a popular form of payment, but Bitcoin is still by far the dominant, and we see that the same way in our metrics. It's Bitcoin, and then a distant second it would be Litecoin probably.
Do people use Bitcoin on the Lightning, or do they do it via Coinbase mainly?
They do both, but most of our volume is over Lightning.
That's quite interesting.
Yeah. Well, I think part of it is the fact it is like our marketing. So like, we're pretty, we're much more known in the Lightning community as opposed to like people who have Coinbase, right? It's not much of a targetable market because there's just like everybody who's doing some crypto stuff probably has a Coinbase account.
Sure. Got you.
So with Lightning, it's just like, there's a set number of people on Lightning right now. They're probably all on Twitter and they've seen our tweets at some point.
Yeah. Well, no, I think like we've onboarded something like in the last few months around about 10,000 people. So hopefully that's another 10,000 people who are getting sats.
There we go. Yeah. Keep them coming. Keep them
coming. Cool. So I'm just going to give people 10 more seconds to answer this question. So just to confirm, when did Ken first get into Bitcoin? A, 2010, B, 2013, C, 2015. You need to write in the Twitch, MTX, MTX, your gamer tag, not Mandelduck, so your gamer tag, and A, B, or C. So let's give you a few more seconds to do that. And we do have a bunch of other questions.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, so far people seem, well, I can't actually, no, I shouldn't say anything because people might, there's a hint, right? Okay, let me stop this then, folks. And all right, the answer is, it was A, wasn't it? 2010?
2010, yep.
Yeah, and nobody got it right. People chose 2013.
Nobody got it right? Wow.
I guess it's because the MintGox probably threw them off. That was around 2013, I think.
Yeah, so 2013, that's when I, so it depends how you define got into Bitcoin, right?
It's true, yeah.
Buying Bitcoin was probably 2013, maybe 2012. But like becoming interested in reading and educating myself about it was 2010.
Yeah, I think got into just means like when did you hear about it and go down the rabbit hole, But yeah, so just to kind of change the subject a bit, like just are you allowed to talk about the whole Mt. Gox? Because I think a lot of people who are watching this are kind of new to Bitcoin, so they might not be familiar. And actually, MintGox is somewhat a bit of a play on Mt. Gox, which is a play on Magic the Gathering. Yeah, maybe you want to tell that story.
I'll kick it off. So Mt. Gox was really the first major cryptocurrency exchange in the world. Based in Japan, it started as a marketplace to buy and sell Magic the Gathering cards, and then they pivoted into Bitcoin. And then it just kind of took off like crazy. And that's where most people were trading at the time. All the other exchanges were extremely sketchy. I remember going on some BTCE, I think it was based in Russia. It was like 3 input fields, and it was just everything was super sketchy back then. But it was fun. It was the Wild West. But everything was on Mt. Gox for the most part. And one day they said, we're freezing all withdrawals. And everybody's like, oh no, what's going on? What's going on here? And a week or two went by, and then they were like, we're insolvent. We don't have the money. And everybody kind of freaked out. And that was that. And now there's this giant lawsuit, class action lawsuit against them, which I don't know how they're going to pay it back because they don't have the money. There was apparently a hack where Bitcoin was taken. So and it's been ongoing to this day. They're hopefully going to wind up the lawsuit in the next year or so, but I don't think we're going to be getting, the actual Bitcoin that was on the exchange. We may get 5 cents on the dollar or something.
Maybe I misunderstood, because I actually, like a little tidbit, I actually tried to send money to MintGox, but it didn't work because they went down. So it's kind of a bit of good time.
Well, here's my story that most people don't realize, right? And I was very fortunate. Somebody set up an impromptu exchange where you could trade trapped Bitcoin out on MintGox for free Bitcoin off MintGox. So within the MintGox ecosystem, you could send from one account to another, but you just couldn't withdraw. So someone set up an exchange where there was an exchange rate for trapped versus free Bitcoin. So say you and I, we both had accounts on MintGox. I would say, all right, I'll give you, 10 of my trapped Bitcoin for one free Bitcoin, and I would transfer to your MintGox account from mine, and then you would pay me actual Bitcoin that was not on MintGox. I was lucky; I got most of my Bitcoin out because I was like, you know what? It's not a very good exchange rate, but I don't trust that MintGox is going to survive this. So I got most of my Bitcoin off, and there's like half a Bitcoin left. So it was at the time it was a rounding error. I was like, half a Bitcoin, who cares? Now it's like, I would like that, half a Bitcoin. That's quite a bit of money. So hopefully I get something out of it. But it was really interesting because I just found out about this on Reddit. And it was just 3 input fields where it was like, what's your MintGox email, password, how much you want to trade. And then you have to put in like your public private key. And it was like really sketchy, but it worked. And I was like thrilled. And I was like, got my Bitcoin. And that was that. So yeah, that was fun.
I was actually living and working in Japan at the time as well. So
Really?
yeah. So we had like the meetup, and a lot of like MintGox employees would come and then disappear for a while while it was all going down, and then come back later with new jobs. But it's quite interesting. And I remember a little story. Niku Hodai with SEC, so they were doing a lot of the investigation into like what happened, where the coin goes, where the coins went, and I always like this little anecdote he told me. So this was after the whole thing had collapsed, and Mark Capellis, the CEO, was like awaiting trial or whatever, and he was doing research on the code base. He said, hey, I found this bug which may explain why something got hacked. So he told Mark, were you aware of this bug? And Mark said, no, I wasn't aware of it. And then later that same day, he noticed that Mark made like a pull request to fix the bug on like on the repo, even though like the whole thing is over. He was just like,
Wow.
that type of engineer. He couldn't just, knowing that it existed, he couldn't he couldn't know it, so. But I kind of think like the verdict in a way was Mark didn't do anything. He didn't steal anything. He was just incompetent, or maybe, or is that how you feel about it, or was it?
It's hard to say incompetent or, it's tricky because it's a very unregulated environment dealing with lots of money. So you're obviously going to be a target, but this is where things are tricky, right? Like regulations generally come in to regulate financial institutions to make sure that they have all of the security stuff set up.
Yeah.
And as much as many of us in the community don't like the aspect of the regulations, it does add a level of security.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say. It was bound to happen. It's happened to other exchanges since then, and it's bound to happen to more companies in the future, right? It's it's hard to say. Being on the cutting edge and being one of the first companies in the space and being a fast-growing startup, on one hand, you're trying to move fast, iterate quickly. There's this whole idea in startups like move fast and break things. But when you're working with financial services, maybe not the best idea. So
yeah. Well, some chains like that approach anyway. So, but we'll go there. Like maybe I'm wrong, but I heard that because of the Bitcoin appreciating, there was some Bitcoin recovered, and that Bitcoin, from a dollar point of view, would have compensated everybody who lost their Bitcoin. So you get the dollars back. So is that not the case, or do people want their Bitcoin back, not the dollar amount?
Well, I want the Bitcoin because it's gonna be like $100 if they pay me in the dollars, right? If they pay me in Bitcoin,
I guess it's like Japanese law, though, isn't it? Depends, like what you're
I get all this mail in Japanese, and I just tell me when I'm gonna get some money. I don't want to read all the details. I don't want to vote on anything. Just tell me when I'm gonna get some money out of this.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, well, best of luck to you for that. Maybe the longer you wait, maybe the more Bitcoin you get, like the more money you get. Maybe that's enough.
I hope that's why they're waiting.
Well, I said this before on this podcast, and I actually got scammed and scammed. Do you remember the Butterfly Labs incident? Butterfly Labs.
No,
so they made ASIC miners, right? And they made some of the first miners. So I actually bought my first Bitcoin. I bought a Bitcoin, and I thought I was a genius because wait a minute, I'll use my Bitcoin to buy a Bitcoin making machine or a mining machine. So I got into like mining in the share house I lived in, much to an annoyance of my landlord and flatmates when the electricity bill was sky high and everything. But they had a new miner that was on pre-sale that was going to come out, so you could pre-order it with Bitcoin. So I pre-ordered it with Bitcoin. Even got my brother to like put some money in. And then they basically, I don't want to say anything that would like, I can't remember the exact legal facts, but they went bankrupt and the thing didn't come out. People said like they were like mining them themselves to get the Bitcoin. They were testing them for a long time. But before they went bankrupt, they were giving a refund, and they would refund you your dollar amount, but in Bitcoin. But because it was like 2000, it was like after some big crash, I actually got like 3 times the Bitcoin I paid in. So I got less dollars, but actually ended up tripling my Bitcoin. And if you hodl the long term, it was an interesting investment, right? So,
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Anyway, we actually have a question from another person. How complicated? This is from Etlinium. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Anyway, how complicated was it for you to get these automatic cards generated? Do you have to have a partnership with Visa or something?
We are partnered with Visa. We are partnered with a bank. It took me 2.5 years to make this happen. It was a huge undertaking, especially on the privacy side. It was very important that we wanted to have a no KYC option.
Yep.
And convincing people to do that was challenging, to say the least. When you walk into a bank and say, hey, we want to have people send Bitcoin and we just don't want to know who they are. They're like spidey senses go off, like this sounds like a money laundering operation, so and like, no, we're not a money laundering operation. So eventually, it was just like a lot of selling, a lot of work on the phones, and kind of proving to people like, hey, this is a legitimate idea. Crypto's taken off here, Bitcoin's taken off. So it took a decent amount of work. It definitely took a decent amount of work. I initially was like, easy, this is gonna be a piece of cake. I'll just buy some Visa cards and resell them on the internet, no worries. And then 2.5 years later, here I am. Yeah.
Like, why don't you have to KYC? Is it like because limits are low, or like
Yeah. So we enforce certain limits. So what we do is we allow consumers to have the absolute maximum amount of privacy allowed by law.
Got you.
And even though the laws say you don't need KYC for this, you don't need KYC for that, banks would generally say, no, we want 17 forms of identification. We want a selfie with your hand gesture. We want, they want all these different things. So our idea was saying, well, hey, our theories, you don't want to sacrifice privacy for security. I actually believe it's less secure to do KYC, because if you saw with Experian and all these other companies, you provide your personal data and then their database gets hacked, right? That's not very secure. And people just steal IDs anyways, right? People steal social security numbers and they use that to sign up for bank accounts all the time. So I don't think it really helps with much. So we're really proving out a new risk model. And we're saying to banks, hey, this is not as risky as you think. And even though we don't do KYC, we do a lot on the anti-money laundering side to make sure that nothing funny is happening. So if we see, tons of money going into some laundromat in New Jersey, like, okay, that's money laundering, right? Like, that's a little sketchy. But the transaction values are low. You can't spend more than $10,000 a day. Like generally money laundering tends to happen very large sums.
Sure, yeah.
So trying to take a very unique approach to this.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. Like, I think, as you said, that just makes the UX experience much better. They don't have to do the photo and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like it's hard enough to be like, hey, trust the stranger on the internet. Give me some Bitcoin, right? It's and then say, well, besides giving me your Bitcoin, why don't you give me your social security number? Like that's a bit much of an ask. So.
Okay. I've got another question actually. So Are there plans for expansion outside of the US? What is it like to expand into other jurisdictions when you have a backer like Visa?
Yeah, so it's interesting because each region and each country has their own regulations about this, right? So Europe gets very tricky. There's some new anti-money laundering regulations that came out. So it'd probably be a little more difficult for us to operate in Europe without KYC. We could do it with KYC, but without KYC would be very difficult. We could do it, but the limits would be 50 euros per card, which is not particularly useful. Latin America and Africa, I'm trying to get more familiar with the regulations in those regions because I think there's a lot of opportunity there to help people who are unbanked and underbanked.
Yeah.
It's really a matter of finding the right bank partners in those regions and becoming familiar with the local regulations.
So is that on the roadmap? Is that something you're working on, or is it?
Yeah, we'd like to do that. It's hard to prioritize because it's like, I want to do this, I want to do that, we got to do this, we got to do that, right?
Tell me about it.
So it's and a lot of these relationships take a very long time to build. Like organizations like banks and payment networks, they're very large, so they move a lot slower. So it's a matter of building those relationships and get that going over time. So
that's something that we experience at Zebedee. So we are working on a fiat on-ramp and off-ramps, but as I said, it's a hurdle, which is why Moon comes in handy for our users, right? We can just go use Moon. So I'm going to change gears a little bit, and I'm going to do this by showing a question. Let's just kind of go to gaming for a little bit, if you don't mind, unless it's anything else you want to mention. So we got another question, folks. What is Ken's favorite game? So A, Mario Kart, B, Metal Gear Solid, or C, Final Fantasy X. So you'll need to answer by writing MTX, your gamer tag, and the answer. So for example, mine would be MTX Mandelduck B. Let me just so you can start voting now. So what do you think Ken's favorite game? So without trying to give away any clues, are you much of a gamer, or like not everybody you've had on the podcast is a gamer?
Yeah. So I used to be much more so. So actually, when I was
when you had
middle
time.
school, high school, middle school, high school, 100%. Middle school, I started making PC games. In college, I was part of developing a course, Intro to Programming, where we were teaching students to make games on the Game Boy Advance.
Wow, so how long ago is this then? I don't want to like dox your age or anything, but
no, it's fine. I'm older than I look.
Yeah, you look quite young.
This was back in 2006.
Okay, so making a
so I was
Game Boy Advance. Is that like machine code pretty much?
It was very low level. You
Yeah.
could not do floating point arithmetic on a Game Boy Advance, so you had to use a lot of different techniques to do calculations, all 2D. So we started developing. I built this game for the Game Boy Advance, and then we built that into a course that we taught students Intro to Programming, and then beyond that, I started. Game Boy DS. The Nintendo DS came out, and that was really cool because now you could do 3D graphics. You had the touch screen, so we started doing development with OpenGL, and that was a pretty cool experience to build on that. But it was all very hacky. You had to get the little cartridges and side load them and kind of root your console. So that was a lot of fun. And then after college, I stopped playing games all that much. Every once a year, I'll take, generally around Christmas, I'll buy one game and I'll play it through. Most recently, I played the Star Wars game, Jedi Fallen Order. That was a blast.
Yeah, I heard that got a very good rating, didn't it?
That was fantastic. That was like I had this PC that I built in 2010, and I just like got a new graphics card and I set up some, got some new
Jedi Fallen Order 2?
refresh hardware, so just so I could play that game.
Jedi Fallen Order 2, right?
Oh, it was the first one.
Oh, the first one. Okay.
I don't think
This one.
the second one's out. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
So much fun.
Yeah, I've never actually played the Star Wars game myself. I generally play games with my wife, so she kind of chooses the games. If we're honest, I did try one in VR though. They had like a demo thing in VR.
Oh,
where you
really?
have- yeah,
Oh, that,
yeah,
that looks fine. I haven't played any of those.
yeah. It's kind of like a small demo, but you basically just have a lightsaber and like stormtroopers are firing. You have to kind of like bounce the bullets, the laser plasma things off. So, but I think, and there is like a VR thing I haven't played, but where you're actually in like the Starfighter, the X Fighter, and that looks because those kind of games work in VR because the headset feels like a cockpit thing anyway, right? You know, cool. So let's see. Okay, some people are answering. Okay, I'll give a few more minutes for people just.
If anybody says twerk meter, I'd be very impressed.
It says what?
Twerk meter. That was the twerking game I came up with.
That's the app. I'm gonna search for this. If I can find it on Google.
Twerkmeter.com.
Meter.
Oh, there's a hilarious thing. You're gonna want to play with it. That's it. Yeah.
Okay. Is it still available?
Yeah, it's still available. It's very dated. It's very dated because we came out with it like 2013.
Yeah.
But,
well, those kind of apps
it's-
were like, the kind of whole, like, I remember like the shotgun app you had, and those kind of using gyro sensors was like a really big thing.
So what's funny, what happened after we launched this game, Nicki Minaj's people reached out to us about making the official Nicki Minaj app. And it was going to be to promote her. She has like a wine cooler brand, Nicki Minaj Mixed Fusions. And she they want us to make the official app, and the whole project fell through. But that was like a funny little thing that came up. So
Always. Okay, let's just finish this. Let's finish this question. So, what's the answer, Ken?
the answer is Final Fantasy X.
There we go. Final Fantasy X, and nobody got it right. People said Metal Gear Solid.
I do love Metal Gear Solid. That would have been a very, very close second. Metal Gear Solid 2. I love Metal Gear Solid.
Sons of Liberty.
That was
Yeah.
amazing game.
It is, yeah. No, like, yeah, no, I think it was, that's in my top 3 actually. Metal Gear Solid, and actually, when I was in Japan, I used to do a lot of cosplay, and that was one of the things I cosplayed because they love it when like a kind of, I guess, a Western, a Caucasian does Snake because it actually looks more like the character.
Yeah. Snake.
Well, they actually call you Hebi-sama. So like, which is like Lord Snake or something like that. So I went to a conference like Comic-Con or whatever it was in Tokyo, and a lot of people dressed up as the Metal Gear Solid soldiers, and they all came up to me like, I had this like little crowd of 10 Japanese cosplayers following me around and taking photos, which is interesting but weird.
Fantastic.
But my wife has done Final Fantasy X cosplay actually, so I haven't played Final Fantasy X, but she made me watch all the cutscenes. So I think it's that and 7 are like the top 2 games, if I'm not correct.
Yeah. So 10 was my first real introduction to like a serious RPG. Like before that, I did Paper Mario, or was it Paper Mario? What Super Mario RPG? That's what it was. That was the first RPG I ever played, and then Final Fantasy X was like the first real fantasy RPG, and then I was hooked. And then I got down the rabbit hole, Chrono Trigger and the other Final Fantasies. And
yeah, Chrono Trigger is meant to be like the best I've heard, and
that was amazing. I just played that in an emulator on my computer. It was
I got to meet one of the Square Enix CEOs once, and I asked him, when's the Chrono Trigger remaking coming out, and he told me I can't say, but but that's one of the things I asked him, because my wife raves about that. Yeah. No, awesome. Like, have you ever been to Japan?
Twice. Yeah,
Okay.
I love going to Japan. Love Tokyo.
Have you been to the Square Enix cafe and stuff, and the Final Fantasy cafes? No,
I have not been to that.
Oh well, no.
I've been
You're missing out. So they have like a Square Enix cafe in the Square Enix headquarters, and then they have a Final Fantasy cafe, which is actually Final Fantasy 14 based.
Yeah.
But yeah, they have all these little pop-up things. So yeah.
I would go to all of the Gundam things.
Gundam, yeah.
And where they have the giant, like life-size Gundam.
Yeah. Odaiba.
And I go hang out. I love Akihabara, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but I love going there and just
Akihabara.
And I love going there and checking out all the electronics and the all that good stuff, all the games over there.
Did you go recently though, or was it a while ago?
Last time I went to a wedding in Seoul, and I stopped in Japan for a week on the way back. So that was 2018.
Okay, so because I found it actually changed, because before it had a lot more anime and electronics, and now it's just like images of like schoolgirls, like characters, and so it kind of changed a little bit. Like, so it's less electronic, I find, but it still is that though.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
But...
First time I went was 2012, and I liked it a lot more then. I think their economy got hit pretty hard. Like when I went back 2018, it was more homelessness, and it wasn't as clean. And I mean, the prices were better. You know, the dollar got you a little bit further, but you know, it changed a little bit. So
cool. Anyway, we're actually just going to play a game now. So as part of our podcast, what we do is we get our guests to play a Bitcoin Rally, and we get all the guests to do a kind of speed trial around one of our tracks. So let's have a look at the leaderboard. So at the moment, at the top, we have Ruben Thompson, who kind of broke the record held by Nicolas Dorier. So we have Stefan Levere up there. And at the bottom, we have, no coiner Ned is the time you have to beat. So we actually got a no coiner to play this, just to kind of set the first score. Because when we did it, we had no score to beat, right?
So that's... who's Dominic Frisby, though?
He is, he's like a great Bitcoin evangelist and author and comedian. He does all stuff. He wrote really good books on tax as well. If you're a libertarian, you probably like his books. But he's like an older guy, so he's never played a game. So I'll let him off there. But he's a voice actor, so he gave the most fun kind of commentary on his terrible driving. But Peter McCormick is down there as well, so you know it's not too bad. It's not too bad down there, but yeah. Anyway, but you're a gamer, we're a gamer, so we have some expectations for you. So I'm just gonna get the game open here, and hold on, the game is not loading. Oh, there we are. Here it is. So you remember the password. Don't say it out loud. So I'm gonna make a game for you to join. Folks. And you will be able to withdraw sats as well at the end of this.
Exciting. Gotta love getting some presets.
But if you're going to get the coins, you're going to slow down your time. So maybe you don't want to.
I am much more concerned with the timing than I am the sats at this point.
Okay, so this should be right. Okay, so yeah, I made the game for you. So if you just want to, you should be able to join that now. I wonder if people from the audience can guess what time he's going to do, if they want to try and give a guess. Let me share it again. Like, you know, a bad time is around like 75 seconds. A good time is, I would say, 60 seconds. A great time is 50, 40 seconds. So write in the chat what you think Ken might do.
Oh, this is great. Is the lightning character supposed to be Elizabeth Stark? Is that actually, not too intentionally, but I think it was. Yeah, actually, when I looked at it, I was making go. This looks like Elizabeth Stark. So yeah, we're gonna add more characters. Oh, sorry, I forgot to say you have to join as the Satoshi cart though. Sorry, yeah. Let's go.
Yeah, it's just because we get all the people to do the same. We get to make it fair. Everybody has to race in the same cart, really. You know, otherwise people will complain. You know, so okay. Bitcoin, some weird name I can't pronounce, says you can do 69 seconds, but I think that was maybe some sort of crude humor. I don't know.
I would not know anything about what that number means.
Yeah, so just join the game with Satoshi Cart and.
Alright.
And then after this, we are going to jump into the Moon CSGO servers and talk a little bit about that, folks. So that's an opportunity for people to destroy Ken and I and steal our sats. Oh, sorry.
100%.
You've chosen the lightning bag again. Maybe it could be like it could be like it's a bit finicky with the arrows. Sometimes you can accidentally select the cart. We'll get there. But yeah, I'll just talk about the CSGO a little bit while waiting for that, and just let people to know how they can join that. If people don't have CSGO, it's going to be quite a rush to download 20 gigabytes of CSGO to play. But yeah, after this, we will. There we go. We will be jumping into the Pay with Moon CSGO server for Infuse. So Infuse is a product by Zebedee, which is a company I co-founded, where it lets you play CSGO, which is one of the most popular games. I think it's like one of the 3 pillars of esports, something like 20 million active users. Yeah, and basically we're going to jump into a server which is free because basically Ken is paying for it, and then based on your score, you could you get more stats for basically more kills, and at the end of the match you'll be able to withdraw. So we'll do that in a bit, but I think Ken is ready now. So let's go back to here. Okay. So somebody says 59 seconds. Well, people have high hopes. You can't let them down here. To be honest, he doesn't have a gaming pad. He's playing on his keyboard, so I think it could lower the score, but we'll see. It's just a bit of fun anyway. Go.
I know I can go forward. I know is it backwards to break?
Yes, pretty much. Yeah, it's just arrows backwards is break. Yeah. Yeah. So Ken will do 4 laps, and it'll be the best time for the 4 laps.
Sweet.
I think you blew the engine. You're not a Mario Kart player, I can tell.
Not that much, no. I went on. I was big on Mario, and then I switched off. I became a PlayStation person, and I kind of stuck with that since then. The last Nintendo console I had was a Wii, but I've considered getting a Switch. I really like I like Mario Party and stuff like that. That's like a good amount of fun.
I'm having a Switch party on Saturday, actually. It's like,
oh, nice.
Yeah. But I think like Switch is generally it's something you get when you get a girlfriend or a wife, really, in my experience. Wii whipped is the word they call it, right? You want to play PlayStation or gaming PC, but then you get like a girlfriend, and you get the Wii. But,
yeah.
But they are pretty fun, actually, though. A lot of the party games are.
Yeah. I feel like that's where it's at. Now with the pandemic hopefully ending soon, I'll actually be able to meet up with people, and, have people over, play some games.
Yeah, exactly. Family fun games. Okay, so he's just coming on his. Yeah. That wasn't great, that first lap, to be honest, but we'll see. It wasn't terrible. Okay, but this is what
first place, so
you're in first place. There you go. I need to put some AI races in here.
There you go.
There you go.
So did you make this yourself?
Yes. It's a game we've been developing. As part of MintGox, so MintGox we actually happened because of the pandemic. We wanted to basically make a place where people can come online and play games instead of going to conferences. So we had to quickly make games for it, right? So, so this is one of the games we make. It's still in development actually. So we're going to we're adding features to it every month. So for people who are watching, if you join our Discord, you can stay up to date for when we do our little tests and things.
But any plans to bring it to a console?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. But when it's finished, we'll be like looking at what stores we can get it on. But obviously, like consoles will limit what we can do, right? Probably.
Sure. Especially with Bitcoin, I imagine.
Yeah, but definitely, we want to try and get on Epic Game Store because they've been mouthing off against Apple's like walled garden stricter payments. So hopefully they should be a bit more open to new payment methods.
Hope so. Yeah.
Yeah. We also have a Smash Brothers style game that's coming out. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I was going to say thank you to JC Crown for subscribe to us. Interesting. So that on Twitch, if people subscribe to you, I think you get money from them. But yeah, we have a Smash Brothers game coming out. It's like generally like CS:GO is a great game, but it's not super family friendly. So we like these kind of more Nintendo-y type games that people can play. So Smash Brothers has been one that people have wanted for a while, so we've been working on it. And people will be able to play as all their favorite crypto characters, maybe,
Well, that's fun. I gotta like step up my game or something, become a crypto character or something. You know? I don't know what my shtick would be, but
No, well, I'm sure we could probably do some sort of like moon sponsorship and have a moon character there or something. That could work.
It's a giant moon. That's it.
Yeah, we could have like the moon could be one of the levels with like gravity lowered or something.
Yeah. Gosh, I think I'm doing pretty terrible so far.
I'm talking to you, distracting you, to be fair, but
hey, you know what? It's better. I feel like I'm doing better given that I'm distracted. If I was focusing too much, I think it'd
this is true actually. Racing, if you're into racing games, you actually have that. When you zone out, you kind of get your best lap times.
Yeah, exactly. You just gotta let the subconscious take over.
Yeah, exactly. Thinking delays your decisions.
Yeah. So what is this game made in? What's like the tech behind it?
Unity, yeah. So
Okay.
Unity, so nothing like too groundbreaking, but Unity's pretty good if you want to make games fast and stuff. It has a lot of asset store. But recently I've been really tempted by Unreal. They just released a new demo of Unreal, like the new engine, and it looks quite good, but like
Is that the one where they have like the super lifelike faces and
human make human or something. They released that as well, which is crazy.
That's pretty wild. Yeah, I've never seen that.
I think people are just gonna make like the first thing I thought about that is people are just gonna make like the ex-girlfriends and stuff, the ex-love. Maybe put them in a game where they love them or shoot them. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's probably a good idea for a game. Probably get banned though. Like,
yeah,
because like
shooting your ex-girlfriend may not fly. You know, that's a tough one.
a lot of these engines, you can upload photos. So I did this with like Nicola Doria. We actually put him in a game, and he sent me photos of his face. We upload it, and it'll kind of make him. So there's probably some sort of like revenge game there, maybe. I don't know. Especially in VR.
Yeah.
Good stress. You can put your boss in there, and maybe. Cool. Okay, so I'm just gonna note the times here. Okay, I'm gonna note your best time. Okay, so that's interesting. What we got?
I have a feeling I'm going to be last place. Which I don't have a problem with that. You know.
Can we turn that off? Let me just get rid of this question because we've got one more question coming, folks. So I will share the Lightning Lap board. So, how do you think you did? Where do you think you come?
I think I am second to last.
Second to last, so that would be
right above the
Dominic Frisbee. Well, that's quite a big gap of time there, right? Are you more the 100 seconds or the 70 seconds?
I'm hoping that I'm around the 70-something second mark. I would be very disappointed in myself if I was around the 100 seconds.
But more than 76. Okay, so you're thinking maybe 77, 78.
Yeah, maybe high 70s or low 80s.
Okay. Well, okay, let's just do this. Okay, let's just reload. Let's see where you came.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy.
There you go. You're not too bad. 71 seconds. So,
Nice.
You're better than Molly from Coin Corner. Those guys, you're better than Brad Mills. You're better than Peter McCormick. So,
wow.
Yeah, that's respectable. Especially because, to be fair, actually, I do this, a lot of these times are based on when I actually give people the build to play. So I give some people the build a week before, but Ken actually forgot and gave it him like maybe like a day ago. So he hasn't had a lot of time to practice. So
yeah, I tested it for about 3 minutes earlier today. And I'm on a keyboard here, so yeah.
Yeah, like I remember Nicola Doria was like practicing it for days every day and like asking me questions like, what's better? Do I do this? Do I do this?
Yeah. But right, no. If I ever come back on here and we play this again, I'm gonna be first. I'm gonna be practicing for months now.
There you go. Cool. Anyway, let's just switch to a different game. Let's do some CS:GO. Let me just see what the server is doing here. So, okay, yeah, I'm gonna do a bit of an open invite for people to jump on and join as well. But yeah, so we're gonna be jumping on the US4 deathmatch server. So if you want to get that open, get that ready. Maybe remove the chat. I need to open Steam and CS:GO. But so you told me before that you used to play the CS:GO, sorry, Counter-Strike 1.6, which is the game before.
1.6. Yep, we had LAN parties back in the day. I would take my PC, I'd bring it to my buddy's house. We'd have Mountain Dew, and we'd play Counter-Strike, and it was great. We had a clan. We were called the Serial Killers, cereal with a C, and we each were named after a famous cereal box character. I was Silly Rabbit.
I don't know that one. Must be American.
Yes, exactly. Named after sugary cereals.
There you go. So, do you want to join US4? Because we have to make sure we join, otherwise all the spaces will be kind of taken up. So yeah, that's good. So this is obviously sponsored by paywithmoon.com or Moon. So great thanks to them. And these servers are running all the time, so you can jump in at any time. It's basically deathmatch. So everybody's an enemy, and the higher kill score you get, basically, the more sats you'll be able to withdraw at the end. Well, 5 people already. So you want to get? Are you in? Or
I believe I am in.
Okay, awesome.
So cool. I've been playing this a little bit recently since we've been sponsoring the server. But so far I've been playing on my MacBook, which has does not handle Counter-Strike very well. So this is the first time I'm playing on my PC now. So I am locked and loaded. I got my 4K monitor and my, I'm ready to go.
Okay, I don't see you in here at the moment. I think I joined the right one.
Yeah, I think it's just loading.
Okay, no, it's awesome. Good, yeah. So interesting. I never played CS:GO until we put like Bitcoin. I was like a Quake guy when I was in high school and stuff. But how does CS:GO differ from 1.6? Like, is it completely different game?
Or better, but it's pretty similar. I wasn't a huge, I'll be frank, I was not very good at the game. They used to call me knees because I shot everybody in the knees. It was very ineffective. But it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed playing. But obviously the graphics are better and more maps and things like that. So the other game I was playing recently is Call of Duty. Do you guys have any plans for supporting Call of Duty? That'd be huge.
Yeah, not at the moment. It's like we're open to new games. I think there are certain requirements for Infuse so Infuse, just for people who don't know, it's a little widget which you can see on the top of my screen. Let me just remove my chat. It's kind of I got shot in the head there.
Sorry, that's me.
It's all right. It's warm up. So this widget here is basically sits on top of existing games, and it basically infuses Bitcoin into it. And my Windows is just crashing on it. Oh no, we're back there. Okay, yeah. So we can basically add Bitcoin to a bunch of different existing games. So CS:GO is the first one to do. One of the requirements to make it easy is you need to be able to run like the server. I'm not sure you can do that with CS:GO. So, but yeah, and we've actually got a first-person shooter. So we're actually maybe looking at adding different styles of games, like something which is maybe a bit more like a Dota type game or a Minecraft type game. Yeah, so that could be fun. But yeah, I know that like CS:GO, Call of Duty is pretty big at the moment actually, because like CS:GO is awesome, but it is a little bit old, I suppose, graphics-wise compared to some of these new games. But it's still up there. Like,
the whole what is it? What's it called when the map starts shrinking on you? That's just gotten so popular recently.
The map starts shrinking on you.
Yeah,
I don't understand.
That's with the Call of Duty game. I forget what it's called.
I've only played modern Warfare.
It's like what's the other game by Epic that
Fortnite?
Yeah, like Fortnite. It's that style. I'm blanking on the names of all the things right now, but they have the Call of Duty where the map gets smaller and smaller over time.
Interesting.
I was playing that. That's a lot of fun.
Cool.
It's pretty much a Call of Duty version of the game you just mentioned.
Well, what we want to do in a way, by adding Bitcoin to CS:GO, which is like a legit game, we can actually approach these larger games like Epic and like whoever makes Call of Duty, say, look at how much more people play these games and how much more fun it is. Let's team up and add it to your game. Yeah. So that's kind of the approach.
Absolutely.
Oh, sorry. Damn it, I got shot. So actually, we're starting now. Actually, so I'll just explain for the viewers. By explaining, I'm probably going to get shot. But you can see my stats balance is going up and down. So if I basically, die, my stats balance goes down. If I shoot somebody, it goes up. And at the end of the match, which I've got 9 minutes left, I will be able to withdraw whatever stats I have left, which I'm not a great player, and especially when I'm trying to do a podcast, that's my excuse for today. So.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm not necessarily all that good either, but I've been playing, like I said, I've been playing on my MacBook, which has been very challenging. So maybe now things will suddenly get easier for me. I'll have a little bit more luck.
Yeah. Well, it's actually cool. We actually get a lot of young people, especially young people say from South America who play this game, and they seem to be earning it a living off it in a way, right? It's kind of.
That's what I imagine is going to happen. A lot of people. I mean, just think of how competitive these games are going to get when it's it's not just the clout of being the best, but now it's serious money on the line. And you don't have to enter into a tournament either. You can just go in and start winning Bitcoin right away. So
yeah. Well, at Bitcoin 2021, we have a tournament, and we also have a tournament for Bitcoin companies, which I believe Moon has a team that's going to be competing. So,
yep.
So, how many
tournament
have you been practicing with the team, or is it?
Not at all. Not at all. We have one team member who I don't think has played games in 15 years, so that's going to be rough. But we got some pros. We got some pretty good players on the team.
They're gonna carry everyone.
I hope so. We're in it to win it, man. So
yeah, it's so fun. So what made you want to sponsor a CS:GO server? Did you?
Well, I thought it was just such a cool idea, and it just makes so much sense because we're looking for people who have Bitcoin that they want to spend, right?
Yes.
What better than partner with the people who are giving out Bitcoin to people for playing games, right? It makes a ton of sense. And we actually have a lot of users right now who use Moon to purchase skins. They're doing in-game items.
Oh, really?
A lot of purchases on Steam. Yeah, a lot of that.
Oh.
So I don't know if they're coming to us from you guys or what, but we're definitely seeing that happen. And that's exciting.
I like to think so because, like I said before, we get a lot of people from the gaming. So we've actually had some non-Bitcoin CS:GO streamers who've picked it up and have been playing it. So their kind of followers have been on. So I like to think that we're sending them your way. Okay.
I hope so. I hope it's working. That would make the sponsorship make a lot more sense if we're actually getting customers out of it. But I'm just happy to help you guys out and happy to participate in the ecosystem. I just think it's a blast. It's a lot of fun if we can help people have fun. Earn some Bitcoin and have a great time. I think that's a great cause. So.
So how are you doing actually? So you're above me.
Am I?
I know you're not. Wait a minute. Oh no, you got 55.
I guess so. How do I even find my?
Well,
it's been so long since I've played anything.
I think it says crew is 51 actually, so you went down a bit. Your score went down.
Right. Well, hey, I'm not the worst, so that's good.
Yeah, I don't think I've shot you in the head yet. I need to find you.
Come at me, bro.
It's very nerve-wracking when you don't find anybody for ages, and then they're behind you.
Yep.
Where's everyone?
What? How many? We got 8 people in here, Willis? Is that right?
Yeah, something like that. Ah! Take that in the face.
How many people can you have max in a server? Was it 16 or something?
16, but that's a default config. I think you can actually increase it, but you got to bump the server. But generally 16 is the default, I think. Yeah, but we have a bunch of different servers. So this is deathmatch. We also have a survival mode, which you can kind of there's no the game never ends. You can basically stay in your stats are your health. So as long as your stats don't go to 0, you can stay in forever. But deathmatch we have these smaller ones. We also have team mode that is rolled out. Yeah, so
and that's what the tournament is going to be at Bitcoin 2021.
The tournament. We've also we have an update coming which will let us put banners in the game, right? So we can actually put pay with Moon on like the walls and everything, which is
that's exciting. That's exciting. I'm thinking we want to put some memes in there.
exactly.
I think that'd be a lot of fun.
You could hide like you could hide like maybe voucher codes as well. Zebedee wallet has like this voucher code thing. Oh,
Really
I just saw somebody run up the stairs. Well, 3 minutes left, 4 minutes left.
It's a good way to distract people. They're writing down the code and I'm coming to shoot them in the head.
We actually have in one of our, I think it's in survival. When you shoot somebody, you don't get all the stats automatically. When you shoot them, some of their stats turns into a coin, which you then have to go and pick up the coin, which is quite interesting dynamic because what we see happening is like you'll shoot somebody in the distance, and like a coin will appear, like a Bitcoin you have to go and pick up, but somebody's basically got like a sniper rifle pointed at that coin. So as soon as you go there, you get shot in the head. So it's quite interesting, and it also stops people from like camping, right? Just hiding because they've got to like get out and kind of get the coin. So there's all these fun things we can play with, you know. Adding.
That's really. I love playing with like it's such a unique thing to like play for Bitcoin because there's so many different dynamics you can play with. You can test new ideas, new modes of play.
Well, next thing, we actually do it in the Bitcoin Rally game, but we want to do it in CSGO as well. Is during tournaments, the audience can like scan a QR code and like drop coins for people to pick up, for example, or you know. So then the audience can interact, or they could drop like a power up or something.
That's
like,
interesting, yeah, because they can definitely lure you out into a dangerous area or something, you know.
Yeah, or maybe they drop like a box, which is like sometimes you get it, it gives you coins. Sometimes like 1 out of 10 times it kills you or something. You know, it's like I don't know.
That sounds like a lot of fun. Anything with like audience participation.
I'm big on that. It's like one of the things I kind of like to work on.
Sure.
So many things to work on, not enough time.
Yeah, seriously, this is the story of my life.
And that, as you get older, also not enough energy, which I found recently. Like, I've got time to.
Yeah, it requires more coffee to get stuff done as you get older.
Actually, I've actually stopped coffee now, and I find that's helping.
Really?
Yeah, because like I think the thing is, I'm having so much coffee, it stopped working. So I just basically didn't work, and then if I didn't have coffee, I'd be screwed. So now I'm like kind of actually I went detox on coffee, and now I have 1 coffee, but when I really need it, and then it kind of works rather than just like having so much coffee. I don't know. I think people's bodies react differently to coffee, though, right? Some people it works a lot. Some people it doesn't work. Some people it doesn't. I think I'm the type of person it didn't work, but if I didn't have it, it would have the opposite effect, kind of thing.
Yeah, for me, I can have one. I have my morning coffee, and that's it. If otherwise, it's like I'll have like 10 a day, and then it's not effective anymore, and you just get jitters. And it's not.
Yeah, I remember like when I went cold turkey on it, the night was horrible. It's like, have you ever seen the movie Trainspotting?
No, I haven't seen it.
It's a movie about heroin, and there's a scene where he tries to give it up, and it, like they try to, you know, he's in the room, and all his nightmares come out, and he's crawling on the walls and stuff. That's how I felt. It was, I envied him, you know. I thought, but, okay.
That's great. So how did you get into Bitcoin gaming?
Like way back in like 2013, actually, I was working for an app development company. We basically made apps for anybody who had like a couple of grand and had an idea and would walk in the door. So I got into game development actually to learn programming because I thought it was a fun way to learn programming. And then I joined this company, and I was making games as a hobby, but the company was paying the bills. And we had one client who wanted to make a Bitcoin wallet. So that's how I kind of got into Bitcoin, because I had to learn about Bitcoin to make this wallet for him. And then at the time I was making a game because Apple released a new programming language I had to learn. So I'll just see. So I got 100 sats out of that. But I didn't do too well. How many sats did you get?
140. I did so much better than I think I've ever done in Counter-Strike Go. So
if you got time, I might join one more.
Yeah,
I might join one more and all. So we go back to the Infuse app. We should be able to, and I'll continue to answer my question, even though it's you're the interviewee, not me. Where is the moon map? Hold on, drag it out here. There we go. But yeah, I had to learn this new programming language for Apple because and then one of the things like Flappy Bird was very popular at the time, if you remember that game.
Yep.
And somebody made like Flappy Bird in like how to make Flappy Bird in like 30 minutes with the new language.
Yeah.
So I did that tutorial and I changed the code a bit to change it from a bird to a monkey and made this monkey game called Saratobi. I thought, I've learned about this Bitcoin thing. No one seems to be adding Bitcoin to games. I'll just add it to that. So I added it so people could pay with stuff for Bitcoin, sent it to Apple. Got rejected because you can't purchase things with Bitcoin in app. So I thought, well, people can't purchase, but there's no rule against me giving Bitcoin away. So I made the app into like a Bitcoin tipping game. And and that was it basically. So I got into that was the start of it. And then that game.
Sorry.
I was going to say, and then that game actually stopped. I had to take it down because of on-chain fees, and I'm bringing it back now with Lightning. So.
Yeah. So there are plans for mobile games also. It sounds like.
Yeah. Well, like this is a mobile game that I've developed actually personally, so not under Zebedee. But yeah, we do have like hyper casual games, but like Zebedee per se, we're not a gaming studio. Like we don't want to make the games. We want other game studios who can do a good job to make them. But we have made like these games to get the ball rolling. But yeah, so yeah, mobile's like a great way to onboard people because you just send them this, download this and play it while you're on the toilet, and then you've got some sats basically.
That's pretty much most of the games I play these days are just I'm playing solitaire on my phone. I'm doing a puzzle game or something like that.
Exactly.
Like, it's just easy to get into. You have some downtime real quick.
Yeah, we have a developer who's working on a Candy Crush game actually with Lightning. So like you get sats after each level, but you also if you do like a combo or something, it like streams you a sat. So that's gonna be a fun one for people to play. So if Moon are open to sponsoring mobile games, I can connect you guys.
Yeah, well, once we have a our own like the Moon mobile app, that'll make a ton of sense.
Awesome, yeah, for sure. Yeah, this map is great actually. It's a SpongeBob, isn't it?
I love SpongeBob. Who doesn't like SpongeBob?
I've never seen it.
What?
You've
never seen SpongeBob?
Well, it's like it came out. Well, when I was growing up, it was never on TV here, right? So it's like there's never a chance. And then when you're an adult, you're not really going to look up a kids show, maybe. So maybe
I did not start watching SpongeBob till I was 20.
Okay.
So
no, I'm sure it's great, but I've got a kid on the way, so maybe that's my excuse to.
You're gonna watch lots of SpongeBob when you have the kids. So.
But tell us more about this mobile app you've got coming. That sounds quite interesting. So how's that going to work?
Yeah, I mean, the mobile app is going to be very similar to what we already have in the browser extension, but you'll be able to just generate the card on your phone, and then what we're going to do is we're going to hook into Apple Pay and Google Pay, so then you can just add it to your wallet and then just make a payment at point of sale. So you want to, pay for McDonald's with your Bitcoin, you'll be able to do that.
So you basically charge you charge Google Pay? I'm a bit confused. Oh no,
yeah,
so
we're creating
Google
that
Pay
card.
will use the card. I got you.
Exactly.
So you just like tap or something on the McDonald's.
Exactly. Yep.
NFC thing.
So,
wow, nice.
wow.
I remember, I think back in 2014, I got it was like Zappo, if you remember them, Zappo Bitcoin card, one of the first ones. They sent it to me, and I was like ordering McDonald's, and I was like looking around, like I wanted to tell people, I'm in the future, you peasants, or something, but like.
Yeah. Well, I seriously think everyone's gonna be living on Bitcoin in the future, and it's just like, okay, what products and services do we need to make that happen? Really support people living that way, because I don't, that is living in the future. It's like get on board the money train.
So you're kind of like, I guess people speaking like in America and England, for example, that probably sounds quite ludicrous that would become the currency. But if you go to some countries, like there's actually kind of pockets of places where they are actually living on Bitcoin or crypto in general. So yeah.
And a lot of countries, everybody thinks that the Western world, we're kind of impervious to the issues that the rest of the world has, but it's not like the U.S. and European countries are going to be the dominant players in the world indefinitely, right? Like we're going to have eventually there's going to be a currency crisis. Eventually there's going to be inflation, and it's just a matter of having all these services ready for people who want to
So
get out of that system if it gets rough.
England almost had it actually. I remember, I think it was in the 60s or 70s. We had some sort of hyperinflation, and a lot of like something like Romania was like considering to send us aid, right? It really lost it, and then like it got turned around by like Thatcherite and Reagan, economics, but then it looks like it's slipping back as well, right? So,
yeah, definitely. I mean, that was the thing.
The Roman Empire was big once, right?
Yeah, the U.S. had hyperinflation in I think it was the 70s, and then that was like the number one issue facing the country at the time because it was like 8 or 9% annually, something ridiculous like that. And I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing that more now. Every government's putting up the money right now. So,
I think we're already seeing it, right? So I get stack those sats,
Just look at the price of lumber, man. That's it.
That's crazy. No, like I thought like wood was meant to be a cheap material. It's not futuristic, but just like trying to, because I moved house now, I wanted to build some like basic furniture and stuff, but it was just cheaper to like buy the furniture than like buy the lumber to make it yourself. That's not how it should be.
Well, it's interesting because a lot of people are saying, "Hey, this is only temporary," because it's not just a currency issue. It's the issue of shortage of supplies. People weren't working, doing manufacturing. They're not cutting down the trees, etc., because they're avoiding getting COVID. But we'll have to see what actually happens. Is it an issue of the currency? Is it the supply chain?
No, it was more expensive before COVID. I remember actually as well, because it actually.
Oh really?
Yeah, when I was, but it's become even more expensive now. So it's probably a bunch of things. Obviously, that's a factor, right? Supply chains.
Yeah.
A friend of mine said it's because in the UK, a lot of wood is being used for biofuel. That's what he said. So, instead of going to like the lumber mill, he just gets sent to the biofuel mill. I don't know if it's true, but he was actually, I met him in the forest where he was like, kind of, scouring wood, trying to get to timber, like trying to find stuff because it was too expensive to buy, right? So,
I guess you could always just go cut down a tree. Go the old-fashioned way.
I think there's probably laws against that in England, but I think he was finding stuff that had fallen. It'd been like a windy weekend or something, so finding stuff that had fallen that was still good or something. But
yeah. So in college, whenever I wanted a Christmas tree, I would just go to the park and cut down a tree, and I was like, "Oh, I got a Christmas tree. There you go."
That was a family tradition with me and my dad. Like, you didn't know it was Christmas until we had to sneak into the Christmas tree farm and steal a Christmas tree. It wasn't the farm, but there was actually a part of the woods where I think a farm grew some of the stuff, but we sneak in there in the middle of night, and try to cut down the tree with my brother and him, and then like sneak it back over the moors without anybody finding. But one Christmas we actually found some people there, and we thought, we're busted. But it was another family stealing a Christmas tree. Probably not the Christmas spirit there. I don't know.
Families that steal trees together, something together, right?
Totally together, yeah.
That's great. Well, this time I'm doing is what I would expect, last or second to last place. So,
I mean, somewhere in the middle, but not doing great. But it's all right because it's sponsored by Moon. Like, it doesn't matter as long as I get some sat.
Since I'm sponsoring it, I feel like I should get extra points or something, right?
We don't have favoritism.
How does the server automatically put me at the top? I don't know.
Oh, damn it. We got 4 minutes left. So what are you guys going to be doing at the... Are you doing anything at Bitcoin 2021, or do you have like a booth set up, or like...
We got a booth there. We're going to be in the tournament you guys are hosting. We got a bunch of swag that we're giving out to people. So if anybody's listening to this, you're going to be at the conference, come on by our booth. We got some Bitcoin beer koozies. I think that's going to be really cool. A few other little things. So that'll be nice.
It's got stickers, of course.
No stickers. They actually said, the people hosting the venue said no stickers are allowed.
Did they? Oh, okay.
Everyone's gonna have stickers probably, but technically
Yeah.
you're not supposed to have stickers.
Why did they say that?
They don't want people sticking them everywhere on the
On the
venue,
bench, sure, I got you. Yeah, I can understand that.
but everyone's gonna have stickers anyways, right?
Forbidden stickers. There'll be like a black market for stickers.
Yeah, seriously. Yo, you got that CBD sticker? Yeah.
Hook me up.
That's great. And then you guys have the booth. I know you guys are doing.
We have a whole arena. We're doing.
Yeah, it's exciting.
So yeah, it's the MintGox arena. I should probably plug that a little bit. Or show that, but it's gonna be awesome. We've got this whole like esports stage. We got like a crew that's gonna do all the cool lighting and everything. We're gonna have you'll be able to go there and play CS:GO at any time. A bunch of computers. You can also play online as well. Yeah, so it's gonna be a lot of fun. And we've also got this little stat stacker game, which is gonna be fun. Which is like it's like one of those coin pusher games, where you know, like you put a coin in and it drops down and pushes a coin out. We have that with Lightning, so you go up and scan a QR code, drop a coin, and then could push more coins out. But we're also going to give away swag in that, so it could push off some swag away. So,
Oh, that's fun.
yeah.
That's fun. I like that game. I like that. I did play once on the MintGox
Yes.
Sunday event.
Exactly.
I played one, and that was great. You get a very good return playing that game.
Oh yeah, it's basically a faucet, right? We wanted to make a faucet, so you know it's all good. It's just a way for people who come to the MintGox stream and they're new to Bitcoin, they don't have any sats. They can just get some sats easily. There we go. I love the AWP. Damn it. Why is it? It's okay. There we go. We've got 1:30 left. How am I doing? 100 score and 100 sats, pretty much. 100 sats will buy me a house one day. Maybe.
I certainly hope so.
Well, I had friends like who I had a friend. He's probably bought, well, like, spent like $500,000 on beer, like back in 2011 or 12 or something. So he should have kept some of that and spent. I think he did keep some of it, to be fair. But
That's great.
okay, we're doing 56 seconds. Need to not lose. Oh, these people are so good today.
Yeah, I am dying here. I'm in last place.
My name in this game is actually Shoot Me for Sats, because I'm just like a walking faucet.
That's you. Okay, all right. Well, that was the first one that I heard about when I first started talking to folks at ZBD. I was like, oh yeah, one of our team members is Shoot Me for Sats. That's a good name. I like that. That's good.
I did use my real name, but I was ashamed actually, because I kind of came up with Infuse, so I felt I was ashamed that, so I wanted to hide my identity a little bit. But yeah.
Yeah, I would expect all you guys to be pros, given that you're actually building all the tech.
Oh, we do have some pros. So actually, the devs who've really taken it over and kind of fleshed out it into a proper product, those guys are pretty good.
Okay.
But yeah.
Cool.
Awesome. But yeah, so I won't keep you much longer. But yeah, that's Infuse, folks. So all these servers run all the time, so you can join anytime. And let me just I'm gonna let somebody withdraw my sats, because that's the kind of guy I am. So I'm going to show the QR code here. Withdraw balance now, and if you scan that, you'll be able to grab the sats. So let somebody do that for a bit, and we're just going to end with one more question. We have one more question to do for Ken, and yeah, no one's stealing the sats. People are trying to unlock their pin code. Okay, someone's got it. Awesome. Cool. There we go. So let's do the last question. So let me solve my little Twitch bot thing. What is Ken's desert island item? A Bitcoin full node. B, a barrel of rum. Or C, a life straw. So a desert island item, if you're stuck on a desert island, you can only have one item in the world. What would it be? So you can start voting now, folks. So you need to write MTX, your gamer tag, and the answer A, B, or C. Have you ever been stuck on... Did you?
A lot of thought into this.
I guess there's like the realistic answer, and then there's the funny answer, right? You know, like the realistic one could be like, a satellite phone or something like that, right? But
Yeah.
looking folks to do
It
that.
depends. I mean, there are ways to kind of like cheat at the question, right? I'd be like, I'll take a boat, like.
Yeah, but a boat might not. Like, if I had a boat, I'd probably end up dying at sea, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
So I think probably best to stay. I think most people would be best to stay on the island rather than like try to navigate the Atlantic or the Pacific.
Yeah. I would not mind being alone on an island. That actually sounds pretty nice. I have that little bit of introvertedness to me, so I do not mind, kind of being alone for extended periods of time. So,
You're an engineer, I guess. A lot of engineers have that, right?
definitely. Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
were you like me in a way, like lockdown, you kind of felt guilty for enjoying it in a way that instead of, no, not
I feel
guilty.
guilty about these types of things, really.
No, like not guilty, but it's a little bit of like I felt it's a little bit of like a cliche thing to say like, lockdown's great because I can stay in my nice house and use my computers when a lot of people were suffering. But I actually did enjoy it, that I don't have to go to that party, or meet that family member. But I guess you didn't have lockdown as much as we did in the UK, so maybe it's a bit different. We were very strict here.
Yeah, so I'm a little bit of a hypochondriac. So I was, when the first person who had COVID was in New York, our office used to be in Midtown Manhattan. So I immediately was like, we are not. I'm shutting down the office. I am not going to the office. I don't want to get this disease. So I was a bit of a head on the curve there. But now, we shut down our office and now we're fully remote and we're going to stay remote. So it's been great because I've never been more productive in my life. I used to have a 3-hour commute round trip every day.
Yeah.
And what a waste of time and money that is.
Yeah, no.
So
I can't imagine doing that now, yeah.
Now I wear pajamas all day. It's great.
I actually moved in my old job. I actually moved next to the office just so I could cut that out, right? Yeah. It was more expensive rent, but it's just like I can, the amount of time you save. Okay, let's end this up, folks. So, stop. And the answer is, what's the answer?
The answer is a life straw.
It's a C, so it's not a barrel of rum or so.
Not a barrel of rum, although I do like that answer too. But that's a recipe for dehydration, and if you don't have a life straw,
what is a life straw?
So a life straw,
is it a real thing?
It's a real thing. It's a straw that you can just put into any fluid for the most part, and you can just suck, and it will purify it as you're sucking through the straw.
I feel like I should get one of these, just put in my bag, just in case.
if you have that prepper mindset a little bit, just get a life straw and you're good. You could make anything drinkable.
Like, would it work seawater? Like, 'cause that was the whole thing, right? People like.
I believe it's supposed to work with seawater.
Because the energy it costs to kind of desaline. I don't know what the word is. Seawater. Like, it would never work, but. A life straw. Is it look like a straw? Is it like a big machine? Like you have like a pump and everything.
It's a straw, but it's thick. It's like this thick.
It's a big filter.
It has a series of substrates.
Yeah.
So it has activated charcoal, has a few other things like that. But there's no electronics in it. It's just purely different types of filters.
Okay, I'm gonna get this because I was walking with the dog and my wife the other day, and she kept saying she was thirsty. So my dog was licking the puddle. I'll say, here you go. Here's this life straw. There's a puddle.
Well, you're going to get a divorce real fast if you do that.
She might like it. I don't know. Anyway, she's tried the dog food once, just out of interest. So I thought. Anyway, I'm doing rest. Anyway, we've been on for quite a while, so it's been a lot of fun, and thanks for coming on. But yeah, let's just end how can people find out more about Moon? How can they get started?
Yeah, so check out paywithmoon.com. You can follow us on social media @paywithmoon, or feel free to reach out to me directly, ken@paywithmoon.com, if you have any ideas, thoughts, questions, suggestions. I always love hearing from folks. If you have any ideas, we're really looking to build something big and meaningful in the space. So if you have any thoughts, if you think that we could do something that helps you, solves a problem that you have, I'd absolutely love to hear from you. Yeah, so really appreciate you having me on. Yeah, no, go play CSGO in the Moon server and send those sats to Moon, pay with Moon, and yeah, treat yourself to a life straw. I think we'll end on that. Yeah, there we go. Awesome. Well, thanks for being on, and
We'll have you on again sometime.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.